Thanks. How's it going with the golem?
Well, the whole thing is really appealing to a scholar of my field of interest and important for humanity. But certain circumstances have emerged which...
Wait, what do you mean? So there won't be any golem?
Not for now.
What about all the night?
I admitted to myself...
So the search for saltpeter was for nothing?
Not at all. The saltpeter will help us create the origin. Chaos. Materia prima.
God. Here we go again.
As alchemical scholars, we actually have only one task before us. To penetrate the diaphanum and find out where it gets its disposition and power from. Only then will we understand the nature of the shadows.
Eh?
I'll explain it to you.
Tell me then.
What's the next task then, Crazel?
From behind the closed gates of Trotsky come quiet whispers, carried by the wind, all the way here to me in the mill. Do you hear it too?
No. Reckon my ears aren't that good.
Scribe Erezim received a trunk from Prague, and in that trunk was...
The document of Hermes Trismegistos?
No, a book. And from an author more venerable than Hermes. It's thin, with a sand-colored cover, embossed. Ordinary at first glance, but the treasure's inside. You might say it's kind of an alchemical cookbook.
So I'm gonna have to pick some locks again, eh? And in the castle, no less. I'd like to know how I'm supposed to get in there. Trotsky is shut tight.
For some. The gates of Trotsky may appear to be closed to us, mere mortals. But why try to force your way in when there's a person they'll invite in themselves?
What person?
Hold on, we'll get to that. We've got the Samine wedding coming up. I can't wait to try out my new potion against drunkenness there. What about you? You still need to get there?
Certainly. It's why I decided to work for you. Or have you forgotten? I hope your promise still stands.
Of course it does. What do you take me for? Start getting ready. You've almost got a fine outfit, I see. But it still could be a lot better. Ad charisma tuendum. Say a prayer to St. Paul. Maybe he'll send you a few nice things from heaven.
So you'll really get me into that wedding? Am I dreaming?
No, you're not. But before you start celebrating, we won't be going by ourselves. We'll have company. Or, to be more exact, the two of us will be accompanying a certain person. Me as a friend and host, and you as a bodyguard, loyal servant. Call it what you will.
It'll be some female, right?
Correct. But not just any female. A true lady will come to the wedding with us. Radiant as the morning star, refined as pure gold. All will be stunned by her beauty. And she'll be our lockpick that will find the weak spot in the gate to Trotsky. All it'll take is a little push. And clunk. The lock will open, and the book will be mine.
Similes, word games. I'll never get a straight answer out of you.
The castle's weak spot is Chamberlain Ulrich, because he himself has a weakness for women. Of all the single damsels at the wedding, ours will be the most charming and irresistible for him. Noble or not, he's a mortal man, and he'll start to think with his male member. We will watch as he becomes feverish with lust. Soon, he'll be begging to take our companion to Trotsky. He'll pretend his motives are pure, so she'll be more comfortable. And when the Chamberlain becomes insistent, you, as her personal bodyguard, will accept his offer. Naturally, he'll say you won't leave her side so you can defend her honor. Once in Trotsky, Ulrich will do everything to get you to leave him alone with her. And that will be your chance.
It sounds suspiciously easy. What's the catch?
I admit there's a certain element here that makes everything more complicated. First, we have to find our gracious lady.
and I'm gonna look for one, right?
Who else? Look, she doesn't have to be a lady per se. We just need a wench with a pretty face. We'll get her a nice dress, some perfume. She doesn't even have to speak. We'll do the talking.
So some bathhouse wench would do.
Aye, that should work. You can find lots of capable girls at the Jelly-Off Baths, including some who aren't so well known. It's true, Dorothy can be a bit unpleasant, but you'll be giving her an offer she can't refuse.
Dorothy owns the bathhouse.
Aye, next to the alehouse there. You'll tell her I'm offering enough groschen to buy 2 cows or a small cottage. That should soften her up.
All right, I'll take care of it.
Excellent. You're a talented, likable youngster, like Knight Roland of yore. I have complete faith in you. And don't forget, you're going to need to dress the girl up and make her smell nice so she comes across like a real lady. So, stop off at Troskowitz as well and get her a nice brocade dress and some long-lasting perfume. Mintha would be ideal.
Where can I find the dress?
Where do you think? The butcher's? Go and see the tailor. Bartoszek has just the thing in his shop. A beautiful red dress made of Tyrolean brocade.
Why that dress exactly?
Because red is the color of love and passion. Rich Tyrolean brocade is just begging to be touched. Ulrich won't know where to look. The dress is likely to be pretty expensive, but that's no obstacle for you, right?
Where can I find the perfume?
Emmerich the apothecary might have something. They say he makes some perfume for his wife. Or ask Betty the innkeeper. She may be a god-awful battle axe, but a nice smelling one. Or get hold of the recipe and make your own Mintha. As an alchemy apprentice, you should be able to manage.
I'll be going then.
Once you've got everything ready for the wedding, we'll meet in front of the fortress gate. There, I'll let our lady in on some other details of our plan. But that won't be for your ears. Anyway, you'll be rehearsing your speech to Lord von Berghoff then, won't you?
I can't wait.
Greetings, my friend.
Show me your wares. I'd like to do something.
All right. I hope you'll be satisfied. Take care.
Don't worry. Lots of folk have that these days. But greeting.
Was willst du?
What do you have for...
Das war ein gutes Geschäft. Auf Wiedersehen. Willkommen, mein Freund. You're lucky.
You're up bright and early today. What would you like?
Crazel has an offer for you.
What does that old goat want this time?
Are you going to bake bread today? He's looking for a girl for the Samine wedding.
What, for himself?
Aye, more or less.
What do you mean, more or less? Does he want it for himself or not?
Aye, for himself.
So he wants her to accompany him to the wedding?
Yes, to accompany him to the wedding.
Strange. Well, what's in it for me?
He says he can offer enough groschen for you to buy 2 cows. Or a small cottage.
It's quite a lot for our usual services.
And that's not all. Your girl will also get a beautiful red dress made of Tyrolean brocade and a perfume called Minta. Nobody will be able to resist her. I've already got everything. Just say the word.
That sounds nice and all. But something stinks here. Out with it. What's he up to? Who does he want the poor girl for?
For the Chamberlain.
For Ulrich? You know what? I'm tired of this. Let's go and see what the girls have to say. They'll tell you about what they've been through with the Master Chamberlain. Girls, come here. Right, girls. We have a messenger here from Goodman Crazel. Tell us what you wanted to ask.
It's about the Samine wedding.
And the Chamberlain, who one of you should attend to.
God, anything but that.
Dorothy, I actually have a lot of work to do, and...
Well, who wants to go first? Anna.
What should I say?
What should she say?
Tell me, why don't you want anything to do with the Chamberlain?
Well, the Lord Chamberlain invited me to Trotsky, and the girls warned me that it would be different to what I was used to. So I asked him if I should take a different soap or something. Or does the Master Chamberlain not like silk? Or if his bed is hard and my back will hurt.
if only.
But they said I'd have to do things that... How'd you put it?
Things they haven't even thought of in hell.
I thought the Master Chamberlain might be of a different religion, and that fucking a Christian girl would be a sin. But he believes in the same God as the rest of us.
Which makes it all the worse.
Then I thought maybe he was cruel to the girls, but I hear that's not the case either. It's not what he wants to do to us that's against God.
But what he wants us to do to him.
I thought he had leprosy.
Tell the girls how much Crazel is offering.
Enough that you'll be able to buy 2 cows.
Or even a small cottage. Not bad, eh? Well, is anyone willing to go with the Chamberlain?
Not even for a golden goose.
I'd rather be celibate.
I thought he had leprosy.
Aye, but it's a tidy sum. I reckon I'll have to choose one of you myself.
Dorothy, I swear that
I'm not going anywhere. You can't make me.
Dorothy, I'll scrub all the tubs here for the rest of my life. I swear. All of them. Every day.
I'll do that too, and I'll even take care of the outhouses.
Girls, come now.
I'll go then. If I can handle it a second time, it'll be a miracle. And maybe they'll even make me a saint.
No, you can't. Dorothy, please don't make her do that again.
Dorothy, for the love of God.
Calm down, girls. Don't worry. I'll never send you to the Chamberlain again. I just wanted to show Crazel's lackey here what you've been keeping from me for so long.
Christ almighty. I was starting to accept my fate.
God in heaven.
I feel filthy just thinking about it. I'd like to jump in a bath.
So, in case you didn't get the message, lad, no girl from Zhelyov is going with the Chamberlain.
I still don't get it. What's so terrible about him?
Weren't you listening?
What he demands is just heathen it is.
It's worse than if he had leprosy.
He's not a sodomite, is he?
If only.
That would be a doddle.
I'd go with him twice if that's all it was.
You don't want to know, believe me.
All right. What am I supposed to do now?
Do what you like. We've said our piece. Go and find some heathen girl. A harlot like that came here recently, asking for work. She was from them nomads.
Aye, I remember her. Nose in the air, talking fancy like some scholar.
She introduced herself as Enelin of Winterthur, like she was a noblewoman.
I didn't trust her for a moment. She was pretty, though. There's no denying that. I wanted to give her a chance, but she asked for so much coin. I thought I must be hearing things. Try asking after her in the camp. Maybe she's got a stronger stomach than my girls.
Poor thing.
I'll pray for her.
Well, thank you.
Good day.
Ave Maria.
Are you Mistress Eneline of Winterthur?
Winterthur, Lyon, Vienna. It doesn't matter. What do you want?
I'm Henry. I was sent by Miller Crazel. We have a job offer for you.
How did you find out about me?
At the Zhelyov Baths. They said you asked about a job there.
I realized straight away it was a bad idea. What a pit. That cow who runs the place almost fainted when I talked about coin. If she had any idea my real value is 10 times higher. But be that as it may, what's the job?
To go to the Semine wedding with us. As a companion.
A wedding, you say? The last time I was at a wedding was in Nevers, France. I had to sing there. I'd like to avoid that this time.
You don't have to sing. Or even say much. All you have to do is behave like a lady.
Behave like a lady? Do you mind? I am one. Or hadn't you noticed?
Sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
All right, then. How much?
Crazel's offering enough to buy a little cottage.
A cottage? I was offered an estate for my services in Antwerp, and a 30-foot gondola in Venice. Although this is only Trotsky after all, I can't expect too much in this backwater. All right then, I'll do it. But first, tell me this. What can I expect at this Semine?
You'll be treated to the finest food there. Meat, cakes, maybe even fish.
Lovely. And what else?
Now that Trotsky is closed, there's no more prominent stronghold in the region than Semine Fortress. Someone will surely give you a tour and show you the magnificently decorated chambers.
Tempting. Tempting. And what else?
I even hear Lord Otto von Berghoff will be there. The Lord of Trotsky. Someone will surely introduce you to him. Well, and wherever von Berghoff goes, he's followed by the second most important man in the domain. The Chamberlain of Trotsky, Sir Ulrich von Schaumburg.
The Chamberlain, as in the castle caretaker. I'm not interested in some little clerk.
You should be. He's the one Crazel wants you to pay attention to at the wedding.
Pay attention? How?
Well, you simply have to seduce him.
I beg your pardon. Do you take me for some cheap whore? A harem girl? A brothel wench? A bathhouse hussy?
I'm sorry, but
Silence! I am an Elaine, a companion, a courtesan. I am courted by gentlemen vying for my favor. I have been a concubine in Krakow, a mistress in Venice, and a gentleman's companion in Basel. My name is known in Brandenburg, Marseille, and Malopolska. I have fulfilled the wildest wishes of the most important commanders of Sigismund's army. Until he stopped paying, the ginger bastard. I'll do my work the way I see fit. Got that?
all right. Got it.
I should hope so. So, to the point. What do you want from the Chamberlain?
Crazel will tell you himself. Before we go to the wedding.
You men and your secrets. All right then, I'll wait for Crazel. But why not? I expect it won't be anything too complicated, and the coin is certainly worth it.
Not so fast. It won't be that easy with the Chamberlain.
Why do you think that?
Just so you know, Crazel originally wanted to take a bath wench to the wedding, but the girls said they didn't want anything to do with him because of his special tastes. I asked them what's behind it, and, well, some wanted to vomit after meeting him. Others said they started considering the convent.
Poor girls. Here in the arse end of the world, girls are no doubt used to just lying on their backs and staring up at the ceiling.
Well, it seems it's not about what Chamberlain Schaumburg did to them, but what he wanted them to do to him.
I knew a Schaumburg from Nuremberg, and he was a hermaphrodite. He had both, things. A respected person, a member of the town council. It can catch you off guard, because you don't know what you're getting into. Maybe it's also the case with the local bathwenchers, but I don't want to make fun of the girls. Not everyone wants to try new tricks, if you know what I mean. I must say, I'm quite curious about the Chamberlain now.
We're agreed, then?
Certainly. Believe me, it takes a lot to put me off. And just in case, there's this potion I carry around. A couple of drops and the Chamberlain will sleep like a log. Except I've run out of wine. I should have some at hand, just to be sure.
There'll be lots of wine at the wedding.
I suppose. But I won't complain if you find me something beforehand. There's one more thing, though. I don't think anyone will believe I'm a lady in these old rags.
Don't worry about that. Crazel told me to get hold of a dress and some perfume for you.
What dress?
A red one. Tyrolean brocade.
Brocade. I like it. Crazel clearly knows what he's doing.
I've got hold of the dress for you already.
Clever boy. I can't wait. Are you going to the wedding as well?
As your bodyguard.
You should get some nice clothes for yourself in that case. You don't look too terrible, but there's always room for improvement. And as for that perfume, it ought to be one that lasts a long time.
Crazel suggested Minter.
I'll take his word for it.
I've already got it for you.
Come on then, show me.
Was wünschst du?
So what's new at the camp?
I heard.
What do you have?
A word about the price.
All right.
Is this enough?
More. Aye. Pleasure doing business. Take care.
About the things for the wedding.
Yes.
I brought you some wine.
Oh, you remembered. Thank you.
A trifle. I have a dress for you.
My, oh my. That is very pretty. Fine handiwork. I'd tidy up the seams a bit, but so be it. We're not in a city, let alone Innsbruck. Thanks.
I have some perfume for you. Will this do?
My God! It smells just like the yellow headband I wore in Pisa. It brings back memories. Thanks.
I've brought you everything you asked for. Are you ready to leave for Semi?
I am. Once you're ready, just say the word.
I apologize.
God grant you health.
I heard some interesting books from Prague have arrived at the castle. There's one I'd like to borrow. An alchemist's cookbook. A sand-coloured cover, embossed.
Yes, several rare and astonishing books have arrived from Prague. But why are you interested in an alchemist's cookbook, of all things?
I've heard there are some interesting ideas in it. Every alchemist is in dogged pursuit of wisdom, especially those from Prague.
Perhaps you know more about that book than I do. Well, I'll have to disappoint you. Lord Nickvard Libak helped me sort the new books at the time, and the one you're looking for caught his attention. He left with it before I could even discover what it's about. All I remember is the author's initials, B.B. I'm fairly benevolent when it comes to lending books, and I appreciate Nickvard's help. But he's had it borrowed for an excessive amount of time now. I'd like to ask him to return it, but he's been avoiding me.
I'll have a talk with Nickvard and find out what the problem is.
You think I haven't tried? But since you've already offered to address this pressing situation, listen to what I've learned. It seems Nickvard lost the book. I've warned him repeatedly not to carry borrowed books around with him, but to leave them in his chamber and read them there. But Nickvard is old and stubborn, and this is how things turn out.
The price of such a book must be incalculable. People like Nickvard are too dumb to understand.
But I digress. As I said, Nickvard is intentionally avoiding me. But I've made headway. I've managed to find 3 people who've spoken to him recently. Bertha, the cook, Regina, the maid, and Hirsch, the hand.
For a nobleman, Nickvard is quite wary of his own kind, speaking only to servants.
I'm surprised that he's ever spoken to anyone but myself. Nickvard is a loner, which is also why I suspect something bad has happened. Now that he's decided to leave his shell, that is. But I'm afraid that's all I've managed to find out. Since Lord von Berkove's arrival, I've been preoccupied with other matters.
I'll help you. I'll ask all 3 and see if they lead me to Nickvard.
Many thanks. If you aren't sure what to do, stop by and we'll discuss what you found out.
Before I go, can you tell me where I can find those people in the castle?
Who, exactly?
You said Nickvard is avoiding you. Where at the castle does he live? Are there any places he frequents?
Nickvard lives like a hermit here at Trotsky. Like a ghost. His chambers are in the Crone's Tower. But God knows if he's ever slept there. He took his meals down in the Crone's kitchen. Lately, I've often seen him talking to Regina in the Knight's Hall, in the Maiden, or looking out the hall window. I caught sight of him a few times with Hirsch at the transport yard below the castle.
So I just have to hope I run into him somewhere.
Nickvard always just shows up. I've rarely ever found him on my own. I'm not surprised you can't find him anywhere, since I've been trying myself.
Where is Bertha?
Bertha cooks for us in the Crone's kitchen. She's there most days. If you can't find her there, try the first house in the lower castle, across from the door to the dungeon.
Where is Regina?
As Lord von Berkhoff's personal maid, she'll likely be somewhere in the Maiden's Palace, perhaps in the Knight's Hall, or on the floor above it, near the Lord's chambers. She even sleeps there.
Where is Hirsch, the stable boy?
I've seen him with Hirsch at the transport yard below the castle. He sleeps in the house directly across from it. I don't know him much, though.
That's everything I needed to know.
Jesus Christ be praised.
I'm looking for Nickvard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Well, I'm waiting for Lord Libac to stop by. I brewed him another phial of medicine, but I don't even know if the last one helped. I told him to stop by for another one soon. I reckon he must be feeling better.
Did he say where he was headed?
I can't say. I promised Lord Libac his secret is safe with me, as well as his phial of medicine.
Oh, come now. Nickvard misplaced an important book somewhere. A sort of alchemist cookbook. I need to find it.
I remember the recipes by heart. And Lord Libac's secret is certainly worth more than any book.
Well, if a nobleman's secret is worth so much, how about this? That'll buy you more than one book.
I suppose Lord Libac wouldn't mind. And do you have the exact amount?
Of course.
So many groschen. I promise I'll split it with Lord Libac when I see him, and I'll explain everything.
But now tell me, what's the medicine for?
Well, it's a common potion for a bellyache. Just better tasting. It helps your meals go down easier and come out slower the other end. In that regard, Lord Libac had, well, how to say it? Everything came out much too quickly.
Just say it. He shot himself.
It was in the privy down below the Crone, by the training ground below the guardhouse. I helped him clean his hose and made him the medicine, and I promised that I wouldn't say anything. Lord Libac is quite particular about the impression he makes on the young maids, you know. He didn't want this little episode to put them off. That's why he didn't use the privy near the maids' quarters, though it's closer to his chamber, but to the arena instead, and only when there weren't any soldiers around. But this time, it caught up with him.
Is that all?
What else is there to say? That the entire time he looked as if he'd done the worst thing in the world. It happens to the best of us. And I told him as much then. I'm just surprised he never came back for another phial. I must say, he did look as if the fate of the entire castle was suddenly on his shoulders.
I don't know if this is going to do me any good.
Well, you could have found a worse clue.
Thanks anyway.
I'm sorry.
Greetings.
What's that sound? You. It's just you.
Greetings. What do you need?
Do you know where I can find Nickvard? The scribe said you might know.
Erazim is suddenly interested in Nickvard and me. You don't say. But when I need him to read something for me, he never has the time. I'm sorry.
I was asking about Nickvard.
Aye, I heard you. Say, can you read?
I can.
In that case, would you mind reading this message I have from Nickvard?
Show me. Dear Mistress of the Chambers. What is it?
Oh, what I wouldn't give to get messages from someone else. Say, Lord Capon. Never mind. Read on. Though I reckon it interests you more than me.
Persevere. We shall soon escape the dungeon of those two women. Cursed fate, however, has placed an obstacle in my way. The heat of the Lightbringer's potion is working, and I can feel my insides being reborn. But when the last remnants of old age left my body, something else was washed away with them.
How much longer is it?
Not much. My damn clumsiness has sent all of the Lightbringer's secrets into the void, but fear not, I shall get them back. May this be the first task on the road to your liberation. That's it.
Beautiful.
True enough. Nickvard has a flair for the dramatic.
My, that's Liebach for you.
But what does it mean? Can you explain any of it to me?
Lord Liebach has taken a liking to me. I suggested to him it wasn't proper for a noble to have an affair with a maid. He thought I meant he was too old for me. But then he found what he calls the Lightbringer's potion book. He said it would light a flame in him that would burn out all that's old. So I suppose it worked. Hooray!
I know the book he's talking about, but what does he mean, into the void?
Look, can we stop talking about this? I feel a little uncomfortable here, talking about some old lovelorn nobleman.
I need help. You can give it some thought, can't you?
No! And now leave me alone.
Go and get your horse so we're gonna get going.
Did you hear about what happened at the big wheel at the mill?
Lord be with you. I'm looking for Nickvard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Hey, Nick. I mean, Lord Liebach. I almost forgot about him. I suppose his task wasn't so pressing,
What task?
Nick Liebach, that is, entrusted me with a big task quite a while back. He's a castle lord. Obviously, I had to obey him. But then I heard what another castle lord was planning, von Berghoff, and I had to obey him even more. He says there's a war on. So here I am, ready to go off to battle.
I need to know more about what Nickvard asked you to do.
No. There are new rules now. You have to prove you're not a spy.
What are you blathering about?
Von Berghoff said there's a war on, right now. I told him, watch out for spies, Sir Otto. But fear not, I know how to sniff them out. You're a spy yourself, ain't you?
I'm not.
Ha! That's exactly what a spy would say. That's why you have to be vetted, to see if you're really on our side. The side that Nickvard's on, just so you know. We're all friends here. You can join us.
I'd like to.
Hold your horses. First a test.
Tell me what you want from me, then.
A sword.
Sword? Hmm? What sword?
A long and very good one to help me deal with other spies. If you bring it to me, I'll know you're not an enemy spy who should fear me. Forge one, buy one, or even steal one for me. Maybe from one of the guards at the training ground or down by the gate. During the day, they're not in the towers anyway.
Steal a sword? That sounds like something a spy would do.
Not a spy who wants to help von Bergoff's most loyal servant. By servant, I mean me. See, once I get a sword, I'll fill you in on Nickvard's task.
Listen, Hirsch.
Don't try any word games on me. Persuasion, threats, I know about them spy tricks. Deeds talk louder than words. For example, like bringing me a sword.
I'll think of a way to convince you. About Nickvard.
Got that sword yet, spy?
You wanted a sword? So look at what I got for you.
That's perfect. Lovely. I don't think you're a spy. Can't say for sure, but you seem all right.
What about Nickvard, then?
Nickvard asked me to do something for him. He must have admired my devotion to Lord von Bergoff.
You mainly appear to be devoted to idling. Shouldn't you be carrying sacks like the others?
Either way, Nick looked troubled and not very healthy. He wanted me to fetch him something he lost outside the castle. And I told him I would. At least I could check to see if anyone was sneaking around about the castle. But then Nickvard clutched his belly and ran off. So I never found out what he wanted, or from where.
That's all?
Aye. If you run into Nickvard, ask him if he still needs it or whether he found it himself. I'll be going into war soon, so I don't have time for these things, see?
I'll tell him.
Henry, good morning.
Morning, Catherine. I see you got your beauty sleep.
You tease. Oh, I'm all dishevelled.
Good. Nice and slow.
All right.
Go!
Die!
Go!
I hope someone pays for a requiem mass.
You must be Nickvard, eh?
Hail Mary.
Poor wretch.
It's starting to stink.
How many more times am I gonna have to poke around in corpses and shit for that damn cradle?
Where's that damned gravedigger? I hope someone pays for a requiem mass.
Heal!
It's starting to...
Blessings to you.
I have the book for you.
Well, I must admit, I haven't had an apprentice this handy in a long time. Zinnik has nothing on you.
I had a peek inside. The pictures are nice, but what do you want to learn from them?
You'll find out soon enough. Show me that miraculous thing. This really is something. But why is it all covered in shit, for fuck's sake?
Got the essence of life from the skies didn't bother you, and now you're squeamish.
Oh, refining saltpeter. Boil wine and alum. Grind. Ah, of course, it makes sense. I'll study the rest on the way. Well, the last chapter of our story of knowledge awaits us. The grand finale.
So what now? Do you have another job for me?
Charcoal. Sulfur from Hermes Trismegistos. Saltpeter from the carcass pit. As long as Black Bertolt didn't make any mistakes in his calculations, we have everything.
What Bertolt? Oh, God damn it, Kraser, what's going on here? I'm tired of flying back and forth like a rag on a stick. I won't be led around by the nose. Will you finally tell me what's going on?
Believe it or not, all this secrecy had its reasons. But now I don't have to hide anything from you. It's time. We'll meet with the others in the lair, and there you'll learn the whole truth. You go ahead. I'm going to get a few things ready here.
All right, then. I hope you keep your word this time. What'll happen now?
Our last supper, with only one but very filling course, awaits us.
Krazel, please. For once, just once, tell me what's actually going on.
And rob myself of enjoying your blissful ignorance? Not a chance. Tell me yourself. What do you think is going to happen?
Like always. You'll send me off somewhere to look for something, and you'll have a fancy speech to go with it.
He knows you now as well as we do, Miller.
I do tend to do that, true enough. But no, today things will be different. Bonnie will start today. At least I'll finally see if she understood my teachings. Bonnie?
First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the whole gang for all the work you've done. We could never have finished the job without you. We found 2 new partners, you and Monarch here. It's good to have someone to rely on. So, it's time we started being honest with you, so you can finally learn the whole truth.
Not yet. Let's pull up that uppity bastard's leg a bit longer. That's the fun part!
One more word, Zinnek, and you'll get one on the nose.
Calm down, friend. I'm just kidding. Tell him then, Bonnie.
This whole time, you've been collecting ingredients and clues for us. But, so you wouldn't go nosing around, we always told you it was for something different than it actually was.
The miller here calls it tackets.
Tactics, you idiot. And everything worked out according to plan. So today we're finally close to our great success. With the help of Hermes Trismegistos and his successors, we'll finally complete the dream of all alchemists. Our magnum opus.
Exactly, Bonnie.
Magnum opus. The great work of alchemy. You're trying to make the Philosopher's Stone.
I see you've learned something after all. But no, the Philosopher's Stone isn't our goal.
Let's see then, Henry. What is it you think we're making here?
Some kind of weapon?
Well, Henry's not too far from the truth after all, don't you think? Actually, he's pretty spot on. Although weapons were our last order of business. Let's start at the beginning. My father was a miller as well, but I was never much interested in the trade. Even as a young boy, I loved running around Lower Samine and investigating everything living and dead. And I had a lot of questions about everything. Then my mother, God rest her soul, decided it'd be best for me to go to study in Prague. As soon as I grew up and gained a bit of sense, I packed my bags and left.
Keep it short, Krazel. I don't need to hear your life story.
You won't know the context. But very well, as you wish. I didn't finish studying at the university, but I fell into alchemy. And when I returned to the mill, I started doing my own experiments. Once I tried mixing sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. I had a candle burning next to me. A gust of wind scattered the mixture, and all of a sudden, bang! I almost shit myself, I tell you. But then I realized I'd unwittingly created a miracle. Explosive black powder.
So I was right. You're making weapons.
No, it's about much more than that. We're all in on it now.
I couldn't continue my experiments on my own, but Bonnie and Zinnig did a few little jobs for me.
So he initiated us.
But we just still didn't know how to do it right and not blow ourselves up in the process.
And we used up a huge amount of saltpeter and sulfur.
By the way, the manuscript from that Hermes Trismegistos was our shopping list and price list for material from Kuttenberg.
Only we didn't know correct proportions. I looked up a few of my former fellow students and brought it up with them. And we found out that before us, some monk had already made the discovery.
Some fella called Black Bertold. And that he even started writing a book called
Feuerwerkbuch.
We can believe our luck when we found out there's a copy of it right here at Trotsky.
And you know the rest.
It's a discovery that will change history. In the right hands, it can make miracles happen. All it takes is a spark, and a storm of fire will sweep away the old world order. It will wipe out stupidity and ignorance, once and for all.
And what will happen now?
As I said, we're about to have our last supper on our journey to satisfy our hunger for knowledge. A feast of smoke and fire. Black Bertold never finished his book, because he never had enough ingredients for his last great experiment. But now, thanks to you, we do. We can finally finish Bertold's work and finish his book. We'll see with our own eyes what a barrel of black powder can do. I hope you're as excited as I am.
I've heard enough. Now I want to see that with my own eyes.
Let's do it then. Bonnie, is everything ready?
Indeed it is. We can get started. Long live the beautiful new world.
Looks like it ain't working.
I'd say it works just fine.
This will change history.
What? I can't hear a thing. But I'd say it works just fine.